SAO is a complete mess with a jumbled story, bland characters, and cringeworthy dialogue. It tries to be deep, but fails miserably, while the voice acting does nothing to save it. In contrast, the LEGO movies are everything SAO isn't: fun, energetic, and full of heart. The characters have more personality, the voice acting is excellent, and the humor keeps you hooked. Simply put, LEGO movies are way better.
The LEGO Movie 2, the second part, is a 2019 computer-animated musical science fiction comedy movie. It's the sequel to the LEGO Movie and the fourth movie in the LEGO Movie franchise. Before I begin, I should also mention that this video will contain spoilers for the LEGO Movie 2, the second part. There's LEGO-style opening studio logos at the start of the movie. This is pretty much the exact same as the first LEGO Movie. Furthermore, this is the third Warner Animation Group movie that was released in February. The others are the first LEGO Movie and the LEGO Batman movie. The colorful alien bricks at the beginning are part of the Duplo sets. They are oversized bricks for children aged 2 to 5. Everything is awesome. The theme song from the original movie plays right after a rehash of the original movie. I assume this is to bring everyone up to speed, since very little is explained in flashbacks of the first movie. We get a shot of the Justice League. This plays into a joke about Green Lantern and how terrible his movie did. There's also a very brief joke about Marvel being out of their reach, which is replayed later in the movie as well. The post-apocalyptic atmosphere of Bricksburg is very similar to the Mad Max movies. Additionally, the half-destroyed Statue of Liberty is a reference to the original 1968 Planet of the Apes movie. The coffee shop is now called Coffee Unchained instead of the Coffee Chain. The barista, Larry, is the same barista from the first LEGO movie as well. Tons of characters from the first LEGO movie also appear in this movie. There's Surfer Dave, who's now known as Chainsaw Dave. We also see a very quick glimpse of Good Cop Bad Cop from the first LEGO movie as well. Additionally, Unikitty appears and her battle form is very Transformers Beast Wars-like. We see lots of other well-known fictional characters, like Gandalf from The Lord of the Rings, Velma from Scooby-Doo, Harley Quinn from DC Comics, and even original Aquaman from DC Comics. Emmett's dream house is based on the house that Emmett crashes through in the first LEGO movie. Retired professional basketball players Gary Payton and Cheryl Swoops also appear in the movie. They actually voice themselves. There's a character called Larry Poppins, which is a spoof of Mary Poppins. His catchphrase is a spoonful of salt instead of a spoonful of sugar. Jorma Tacone of the Lonely Island voices Larry Poppins. Rex Dangervest is a galaxy-defending archaeologist, cowboy, and raptor trainer. This is a reference to Chris Pratt's other movie roles in Guardians of the Galaxy, The Magnificent Seven, and Jurassic World. The archaeologist part is a reference to how Chris Pratt could possibly play a younger version of Indiana Jones. We get a Batman Forever pun. This is obviously a reference to the 1995 movie of the same name. The vampire character says that he sparkles. This is an obvious reference to Edward Cullen from the Twilight series. There's a Bruce Willis cameo. Later in the movie, we also see how he's climbing through an air duct, which is a reference to Die Hard. Bruce Willis also voices himself in the movie. The characters as a whole make fun of catchy pop songs, often teasing multiple ones through imitation of the music being played. Everything is Awesome is the primary one of these. For the fans of the old Rugrats TV show, we see Reptar, a character that the kids on the show often loved and found to be a hero. This is probably a nod to the primary composer of the movie, Mark Mothersbaugh, who produced the entire soundtrack for the Rugrats TV show as well. We also see the giraffe from Toys R Us, Jeffrey. He is only identifiable by his monocle, as it seems that he's missing his top hat. Additionally, we see LEGO minifigures of Dorothy, Scarecrow, Tin Man, and the Lion from The Wizard of Oz. Rex and Emmett end up in a trash compactor scene, much like Star Wars A New Hope and WALL-E have in their movies. The escape process is very similar to Star Wars A New Hope as well. There's an old-fashioned intermission screen, per the way movies used to show when they needed to put on new reels. These were common until movies were rolled on larger reels, though longer movies such as the Lord of the Rings movies in the early 2000s actually still needed to use these intermission screens at some theaters. Every single Batman actor from Adam West onwards is mentioned, including Christian Bale, Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, George Clooney, and Val Kilmer. They also make a reference to Selena Kyle, the actual name of Catwoman, and the longtime off-again, on-again lover of Bruce Wayne / Batman, through many different mediums of Batman media. Furthermore, Michael Keaton's role as Beetlejuice in the 1988 movie Beetlejuice is also referenced by Batman. The attempt to take out the Queen's ship / base is very much a reference to the whole destroying the Death Star bit from the Star Wars movies, including a special single place that they must strike through a culmination of efforts from all the main characters. There's a Ruth Bader Ginsburg cameo. Although she did not do any voice work for the movie, Ruth Bader Ginsburg did however approve of this cameo. Chris Pratt voices both Emmett and Rex, which definitely makes sense because they're the same exact character. Rex actually stands for Radical, Emmett Extreme. Rex tries to explain how he time traveled, and we see that he used a lot of other time travel devices, such as the DeLorean from the Back to the Future movies, the telephone booth from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, the TARDIS from Doctor Who, and even the hot tub from the Hot Tub Time Machine movies. The scene is basically Rex stealing parts from all the other time machines, and since he's a master builder, smashing them together to make his own time machine. Rex talks about the Matrix movie. Pretty unexpected, but it may be a sweet nod because the movie turns 20 years old this year. Furthermore, Rex talks about how he's Back to the Futuring himself as he disappears. Rex fades away much like Marty did in the first movie, when there was a chance that his parents parents wouldn't end up together. The English rock band Radiohead is mentioned in the movie's dialogue. The Lonely Island raps at the end credits. They also co-wrote and co-performed the Everything Is Awesome song. Animal Logic was the animation studio that did the visual effects for this movie. They also did the visual effects for the other 3 LEGO movies. This movie was originally supposed to be released on May 26, 2017. However, it was pushed back to 2019 for the other LEGO movie spin-offs. Stephanie Beatrice, the actress who plays Sweet Mayhem, has a small scar on her right eyebrow. This was actually caused by tripping on a piece of LEGO when she was 10 years old. Rob Schrab was originally supposed to be the director of this movie. However, he was replaced by Mike Mitchell. The movie was written by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, the directors of the first LEGO movie. Well, that's it for this video. What did you think of the LEGO Movie 2, the second part? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. Also, let me know which is your favorite movie in the LEGO Movie franchise. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications for my channel so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
As you can see, the LEGO Movie is a blast. Fun, humorous, and endlessly entertaining. It's packed with clever jokes, creative visuals, and characters that are actually enjoyable to watch. Every minute is full of energy, and it knows exactly how to keep the audience engaged. SAO, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. It's dull, with bland characters that have no real development, and the writing is lazy. The story drags on, trying to be deep but falling flat on its face. There's no excitement, no charm, and definitely no humor to save it from being a total bore. If you're looking for something worth your time, skip SAO and dive into the LEGO movies. They're a fun ride for all ages, unlike SAO, which struggles to entertain at all. And if you're craving another great animated film, check out Over the Moon.
Over the Moon is the newest animated movie on Netflix. In this video, I'll explain the ending of the film, as well as the classic Chinese myth that the movie is based on. Let's get started. Fei Fei takes a bite out of the mooncake, and finds the other half of the amulet. It's the gift that she's been looking for this entire time. Fei Fei gives the gift to Chang'e, and she combines both halves of the amulet into one piece. Chang'e's husband Hou Yi is resurrected, and she's able to reunite with him for a brief moment. However, Hou Yi is unable to stay, and tells Chang'e that she has to move on. The entire place is engulfed by darkness, and the characters are taken to the Chamber of Exquisite Sadness. Fei Fei is warned that if she enters, she may never return, but she goes in anyway and tries to bring Chang'e back. Chang'e tells Fei Fei that she has to move on. Later, Qin also enters the chamber, and Fei Fei realizes that Chang'e doesn't have to be alone. She has all these Lunarian companions on the moon. The colors return and everyone starts cheering for Fei Fei. The characters say their goodbyes to each other, and Bungie decides to stay on the moon with the Jade Rabbit. Chang'e thanks Fei Fei for bringing her the gift, and gives her the photograph she promised. Then we find out that the real gift wasn't the amulet piece. It was Fei Fei all along. The flying lions bring the characters back to Earth, but upon re-entering the atmosphere, the photograph starts burning up and turns to ash. There's a short time skip, and we see that Fei Fei's father and Mrs. Zhong have gotten married. Fei Fei has also gotten a new dog, which parallels the beginning of the movie, where Fei Fei's mother told her the story about the space dog. Fei Fei and her family are celebrating the Moon Festival, but unfortunately the moon is hidden behind the clouds. After dinner, Fei Fei and her father sit together, and the clouds pass, allowing the moon to show after all. Finally, the movie ends with Fei Fei chasing Qin, and the film is dedicated to Audrey Wells, the movie's screenwriter who sadly passed away from cancer in 2018. Some of the movie's big themes are learning to move on and dealing with grief. Chang'e has to move on from Hou Yi, and Fei Fei has to move on from the loss of her mother. However, neither Chang'e nor Fei Fei are truly alone, because they still have other people who love them. While this is an animated movie made for kids, the messages and themes are very mature. Furthermore, the movie's title Over the Moon has a double meaning. Of course, the characters in the movie are literally traveling over to the moon, but it's also a phrase meaning that you are very pleased about something, which definitely fits with how the movie ends. Chang'e and Fei Fei are finally able to see that there are lots of other people who care for them and are there for them. It definitely reminds me a lot of another animated movie that came out earlier this year, Onward. Ian, the main protagonist of Onward, was dealing with the loss of his father, just like how Fei Fei was dealing with the loss of her mother in Over the Moon. However, by the end of the movie Onward, Ian is able to understand that his father is important to him, but there are several other people who still love Ian like his mother and brother. Ian has to learn to move on from his father's death, and as I mentioned before, moving on is one of Over the Moon's major themes. Over the Moon isn't a Disney movie, but it certainly feels like one, which makes sense because the film was directed by Glenn Keane, a character animator who worked on many Disney movies, like The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Pocahontas, Tarzan, and Tangled. Glenn Keane worked at Disney for nearly 38 years in total. Now let's talk about the Chinese myth that the movie is based on. Chang'e is associated with the Chinese myth about the elixir of immortality. There are many retellings and versions of this myth, but it usually goes like this. There are 10 suns in the sky and it's always very hot. hot. A skilled archer named Ho Yi shoots down 9 out of the 10 suns. As a reward, he's given the elixir of immortality. However, it's only enough for one single person. Ho Yi realizes that if he becomes immortal, then his wife wouldn't be with him for eternity, so he decides to stay mortal and hide the elixir. Ho Yi's wife Tanga finds the elixir and drinks it. She starts floating to the moon. Ho Yi is very angry and tries to shoot Tanga, but misses every shot. Eventually, as time passes, Ho Yi misses his wife and leaves out food for her every night, in hopes that it would make Tanga feel less lonely. Ho Yi does this every day until he dies. This tradition has become what's known as the Mid-Autumn Festival in China. There are other renditions of this story, where Tanga is turned into an ugly toad, and another where a rabbit sympathizes with Tanga and flies to the moon in order to keep her company, hence why we have a rabbit and toad in this movie. Additionally, Tanga appeared in Wu Chang'an's novel Journey to the West, and the Chinese Lunar Exploration Program was also named after Tanga. This is an ongoing series of robotic moon missions by the Chinese National Space Administration. Last but not least, will there be a sequel to Over the Moon? Well, there are no current plans, so we'll probably not be getting a sequel anytime soon. However, if a sequel does happen, I think it would be very interesting to explore other Chinese festivals. For example, the Dragon Boat Festival or the Lantern Festival. The filmmakers could base the next movie on one of those, and do a modern retelling of another Chinese myth that the festival is based on. There's usually a 2-year gap between Netflix movie sequels, so if a sequel to Over the Moon does get greenlit, the earliest we'll see it is most likely in 2022. Although the has shifted and delayed many movie productions, so it might take a bit longer than 2 years to make a sequel. What did you think of Over the Moon? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. I personally thought it was pretty good. The animation was great and the voice acting was top notch. Furthermore, the songs were very catchy. Well, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a future upload. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.